Winnipeg and Vegas. And Carm, I complained about that bad beat for the under. But when it comes down to it, the storyline in that one was Winnipeg cashing that underdog ticket, but not just by 1 or 2 goals. They scored 5 goals and beat Vegas 5-1 at T-Mobile Arena. What do you think here for Game 2, Jets and Knights?
Andrew, as I just said in the previous game, the reactionary thing here. Listen, this is going to be an unpopular opinion with a lot of people, but I'm going to say it. This price keeps creeping up on Vegas and it keeps going higher. The live lines, I've seen it just change to minus 170 now on the Vegas Golden Knights, plus 145 on Winnipeg. And I'll tell you this, I'm much like the series, and I'm not comparing it to the series, but I'm drawing parallels, much like the series where in 2018-19, where Tampa Bay finishes first overall and then lose 4 games to Columbus. They lose game 1, and the world was on Tampa Bay in game 2 and game 3, and I was part of the world on that one. I lost money on that series. I am not going to lie. I joked around about being able to build another wing to the house if I did not continue to lose money on Tampa Bay in that series, and they were done in 4. This Winnipeg team, people aren't giving them credit. They are playing some very good hockey. They're playing some very good defensive hockey. They went in, played the perfect road trip, and beat the Vegas Golden Knights in game 1, and they very well could do it in game 2. Everyone is going to be on the Vegas Golden Knights tonight because they think they can't lose. It's much like yesterday. Everyone was on the Edmonton Oilers. It was a 3-2 game that they won, and they did what they were supposed to do. Dallas did the same thing. It does not mean, guys, that it's an auto win, that you just put a check mark beside Vegas and you move on to the next game. If I get the right, and I'm getting close to getting the right price. I said before the show, if I can get plus 150 on Winnipeg in this game, and we're getting close to it, I'm going to take the Jets in this game. The value is there for me to take a shot on Winnipeg. And even if the Golden Knights come out and bounce back, you're still going to get a very tough defensive game from the Winnipeg Jets tonight. They're not going to roll over. They would love nothing better than to win game 2. All the pressure's on the Dallas Stars, just the same. Sorry, not Dallas Stars. The Vegas Golden Knights, just the way it was on the Dallas Stars, just the way it was on the Edmonton Oilers, and the same way it's going to be on the Colorado Avalanche tonight, to not go down 2 games before you hit the road, and that's all the pressure. I think Winnipeg could steal this game. It's an unpopular position, but I'm going to take it. So give me Winnipeg to steal this one tonight, and I'll move on to Buster for his thoughts.
Well, Carmine, you say it's an unpopular position. Of course you can see that. Just like you had talked about the earlier game with Tampa Bay and Toronto, where you said that the same thing, but you said you figure Toronto's going to win. Yeah, I mean, it's the playoff hockey right now. Anything can happen. And Vegas looked terrible. I mean, just a complete no-show. How do you no-show at home in the 3rd period? Goalie lets in a bad goal to make it 3-1. That was their death right there. That was it, right? I think they had 2 or 3 shots on goal in the 3rd period. How does that even happen? Have to believe Cassidy gets these guys going. Yeah, you're right. You can't just willy-nilly take that team that lost the first game at home. But we have some really good clubs at home, and I am actually admitting Toronto is a really good club at home that are, if you ask me, they're in do or die situation. I know they can come back from 0-2, but I'd love to see what Ralph has on something like that, being down 0-2 and then going on the road. A lot of teams win series is going down 0-2 at home, and then they get 2 home games and they tie it up 2-2, and you go zigzag and go 7 games. But being down 0-2, very, very tough. Got to believe Vegas comes out with their best game tonight. They really have to. Real problem, I did bet Vegas, got them early at 150, but I am worried about Connor. He just looks like he's going to have, and if Winnipeg makes it through here, they might be able to upset another team as well. Like, I know, again, we're talking way down the road. It's 1 game. Vegas could come back and win 4 games to 1. But Winnipeg, I agree, Carmen, looks very good. They have what you need in the NHL playoffs, and that's a great goaltender, and they're doing well. But myself, I think Vegas, like the world, I guess, as you said, but like you said, the world won yesterday on Edmonton in regulation, and Joe Public's been doing really well in all sports. Now that there's so much information out there, a lot of guys are realizing they're just doing their homework, which I love that people are doing their homework, going through stuff. That's great. That's what makes you a better. So give me Vegas here. I'll be with Joe Public.
Yeah, I mean, 2
Buster,
days
there's
ago,
nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. Sorry, Andrew, to jump in. There's nothing wrong with being Joe Public sometimes because, and Andrew mentioned it earlier and on a previous show, a lot of these games are, at least for me, I've been going the way I've been seeing them, and even in the last couple of weeks of the NHL season. So I'm not gonna try and reinvent the wheel and find something that isn't there, or look at a different strategy. Maybe if I was struggling in the playoffs and off to a really good start in the playoffs, 9-3 thus far, maybe I would look a different way. But as you said, do your homework. As long as you're doing your homework, and don't just auto bet. Don't just say to yourselves, okay, well, Vegas lost the first game. I'm going to take Vegas in the second game. Colorado lost the first game to Seattle. I'm going to take Colorado in the second game. It's just at least do a little bit of homework. Put it in some type of an effort. Right, Mr. McInnis?
Yes, sir.
Andrew, I'm sorry. We're all jumping in on you. I just want to make the point of, I get that. But these are teams, is the way they got beat. That's what it does for me. It's the way they got beat and the pride on these teams. And if you've watched hockey for so long, I mean, if it was a close game and they got beat, you know what, Winnipeg, but it's just the way they got beat. I can't believe a team like Vegas would just pack it in again tonight, right? It's the way they got beat, I think, really stands out to some of these teams, especially teams that are quality.
With that, actually. I have to agree with that because I agree that with Carm saying about the overreactions, but I think that I was just as shocked as you guys or anybody about 5 goals from Winnipeg. Like, I figured any game they'd win would be like them winning like 3-1. So 5 goals is pretty impressive. One of those is being an empty net goal, though, of course.